The regular council meeting of the village of Armada will now come to order. Will everyone rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you kindly. Call the roll, please.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Wolock.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Sledge.
Here.
Delkey.
Here.
Council's wishes is to approval of the agenda, please.
Mr. President, I move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support. Supported by Ballard, or made by Ballard, supported by Clark, I'm sorry. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, motion carried. At this time, the floor is open up to citizens' comments. You have 3 minutes to state your name for the record and address the council. Anyone want to start?
Would this be the time that I talk about the funding through the?
For PAL?
Yeah.
No, that'll be under the public hearing.
Okay, that one.
All right, no citizen comments. There will be no presentations tonight. Administrative reports, Commissioner liaison reports, and the code enforcement report is in your packet. Does any commissioner have one?
Jasmine, go ahead.
Mr. President, we have a representative from the sewer plant and would like to speak.
Good evening. I'm passing around a copy of the Village of Armada Water and Wastewater Report for the month of December. At this time, we cannot give you an exact update on the maintenance, the balance of the maintenance, because of the fact that in the last 2 weeks, we've had the heater has gone out in the brick building. Watson Brothers came out and basically the bearings have gone to pieces and they're going to be,
Doug.
oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Michelle. And their parts are on order. Since the last meeting, the contractors have finished demobilizing from the facility. Everything as of last Friday was moved off site. There's nothing more really that's gone on. They're going to be coming through, as we've stated in the past, in the spring to level the ground, reseed it, and make it look like a professional facility again. Also, we've had ongoing problems with 2 of our pumps that feed the plant. Inside the plant, tomorrow we've got a pump manufacturer coming out. Initially, what they're saying is because of the fact the pumps are well over 25 years old, that the bearings have gone bad, and so therefore water is coming into the pump and tripping what they call thermal overload. They're going to come out, give us an estimate. Their advice so far, without digging into it, is it would cost us 70% of the replacement of a new pump to replace it. Right now, we're going on the assumption, bless you, we're going on the assumption that we can replace 1 a year, you know, and still make good. We're down to 3 pumps, we're down to 1 that actually works well. We haven't had any problems with it, but that being said, we have a high flow or something, we could be in bad shape like we had last October. We had all that flow coming in, all the sewage from leaks and such coming in. I will keep in contact with Steve once we get a firm estimate on how much and how long it would take. We don't want to rush out and replace all of them at once, but we need to replace at least one of them.
Russ,
We
wait,
put in two new pumps.
What's that now?
So we put in 2 new pumps.
Well, they put in a lot of pumps, but these are, when we're cutting costs on everything, these
Yes.
were okay then, and we didn't do it.
what is the possible price on them?
I really couldn't tell you. At
No
this
kind of a,
No,
Yes,
I wouldn't even want to hazard a guess because of the fact it's been so long since I've had to order these type of pumps. But I tell you, we get new pumps in. These, according to the serial numbers and the model numbers we gave them today, these pumps were manufactured in 1994. So they've gotten their life out of them. And I myself don't see it feasible to throw good money after bad to repair them when we can get new ones in that are more efficient, last longer, and no maintenance on them.
well,
We need to
warranty?
get a new one, at
warranty
least
to-
one now, right
Well,
now,
it's
Steve?
kind of what they're talking about.
That's what that is what we're going through, is to look at getting one. And then we'll have a good one, because right now the way it sets is you have 3 pumps. One is in lead, one is in lag, so if we have a high flow, that one will cut out. And then the third one is always a standby. Once we get a new pump in, then we know we've got a lead and a lag, then go forward and work with the council on budgeting for pumps in the future.
Steve, do you have any maybe vague recollection of cost?
No. No, there's so many different pumps down there,
I could look back and tomorrow, I can call Steve when we get an idea tomorrow on how much it'll be, and then we'll have a ballpark idea on how much that will entail. Not stepping on anybody's toes, Ross, as Ross knows, last week we received a load of the filter medium for replacement of the filters at the water treatment facility. They came in early, we weren't expecting it. Ross and DPW did a bang-up job of getting a forklift, getting it offloaded and put away. We were caught by surprise, but in a way, I feel with everything going on with the transportation issues in Michigan, at least, and this product was coming out of Canada. So we were fortunate enough, now we have it on site. So when we're ready to move, we have that at least in the game. As you know, Wally McCavich has left. Stuart Beach, who was in charge of the water department, wastewater, has now transitioned over to the water side. Next meeting, I'll be bringing in the gentleman, his name is Ken Day. He will be the operator and responsible charge of the wastewater plant. I'll still be there, but Ken will be the one handling the permitting issues and what have you. He's very knowledgeable, he's got a high license, and also he is very good working with regulators and such. So he'll be a welcome addition when you meet him. And that's all I have. Like I say, that's the December report. The January report is in process right now.
Okay, thanks, Doug.
Thank you, sir. Council have any questions, gentlemen? If not, we'll move on.
Mr. President, I've got some items. So apologize to the council, I didn't get a chance to write them up like I normally do, but I've got several things I want to walk through very quickly. Doug has indicated the G2 media for replacement of the media and 2 filtration vessels did arrive. It was unexpected. Probably is a blessing in disguise, but we had to jump and come up with a forklift. So I want to thank Larry's Automotive for loaning us a tow motor to get the media out of the truck and into the water treatment plant. Steve was down there for a little while. I think he left quickly because I was operating the forklift, so he got out of there fast. In any case, it's 10 pallets, so we're very happy about that. I am talking to McIntyre's about when we're going to do the exchange of the media. probably towards the end of February, first part of March. But we do need to plan it. The media showed up when I was entertaining a contractor from UIS SCADA to discuss upgrades to the water department telemetry equipment. UIS was the company that originally put that stuff in there, and so they're most knowledgeable about that equipment. And probably not a surprise, it's about 15 years old. Half of it's no longer supported. So we're looking at upgrading some of that equipment and possibly the alarm system that we were previously talking about. UIS is able to do both of those, and maybe that's a better way to go instead of UIS doing telemetry and A&B Alarm doing the alarm system. Maybe just having one guy do it. In any case, I expect a cost estimate this week. And I've also got a quote from Telto to replace 6 fire hydrants that are leaking or are inoperative. Now, the fire department is aware of all of this, but those inoperative or leaking hydrants do pose some risks for us. But that bill is going to be probably around $54,000 to do all 6 of them, which brings up the issue of our procurement ordinance and how we negotiate. What do we do with potentially a preferred contract, a preferred vendor? We use Telto quite often for water department things, but because of the size of the bill, we could go out and compete it. So there's pros and cons of doing that. Maybe an issue that council needs to go back and consider. The best value may not be the lowest cost, but Telto is generally there right away when we need them. So nothing to approve tonight, but I do have a cost estimate for that. Next item, just I got word, Michelle, from Fort County that they have dispersed the $500 in tornado relief funds that they had held to the Lions. That's who they had previously given funds to for distribution of those funds.
So residents can contact the Lions Club?
I would assume so. I'm not
Okay.
sure what program the Lions really had in place to
Okay.
distribute
I think
funds.
I can ask them, I can give them.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be good that we maybe got that. I just found that out the other day.
Okay,
Get that information, maybe put it on a next meeting.
yeah, put it on the website.
Did conduct a meeting with the Deputy Macomb County Executive, John Paul Ray, regarding the trail spur that we had been talking about over the last couple meetings. It was a very good, positive meeting. The county wants to help us out, I think, in this case, and do something for us. They believe it's a good idea. So there's really 2 pieces of it. And Jeff, you may be involved in the first piece. Obviously it's usage agreements or easements. Previously thought that the property that they would put the spur in belonged to Armada Grain. It doesn't. It belongs to the trail. So I guess they can do it, and Lance is not necessarily a part of that. The issue may be that Lance owns property on the other side of Depot Street. We don't have sidewalks that go all the way to Depot Street. They're about 10 feet, 20 feet short respectively, and they may ask us to do something with those, or they may pay for them. So that's the second phase. Once we get the easement determination or the usage agreement, then who's paying for what? I believe they're probably going to do it all for us. But very good meeting, and there's another meeting coming up at the end of February, first part of March. And then I think last but not least here is had a number of discussions with the Michigan Community Heart and Soul Coordinators in Fort County Community Foundation. Council had passed a resolution in support of that. Township had passed a resolution in support of that, both at the end of last year. And looks like the principal cost, about $40,000 to $50,000, is going to be completely underwritten by the Orton Family Foundation and Fort County. So right now we're going through some of the mechanics of it, but assuming that's gonna be taken care of, then we will crank up that activity sometime here in the springtime. Be a community-led activity with facilitators from the community, more to follow. So, some good news on that. Subject to questions? That's all I have.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I do have a police report from January.
Yes, Mr. Pepper.
This is the police action report, January 2022. The traffic-related and traffic stops, there were 71. There was no assaults. There was 10 assist EMS. Assist other agencies was 7. Suspicious situation was 7. Civil dispute was 2. Dog and animal complaint was 0. Disturbances were 3. Alarm and open door was 1. Domestic disturbance was 0. Lockout was 0. Death investigations 0. Runaway juvenile 1. Damaged property 0. Mental distress situation 0. Mischief 1. Miscellaneous calls for service 1. Missing persons located 2. Officer initiated activity 5. Lost and found property 2. Theft 0. Fraud 0. As of February 11th, 2022, there were 400, patrol car 431. The mileage on that was 70,219. And on the truck 432 was 77,246. I'd like to pass this to the clerk, please. Also, I have received 3 resumes for our police chief position. I have 4 have indicated they have interest. All resumes are due on 2/18/22 in the clerk's office by 5 p.m. The committee will meet after 2/18/22 to review the resumes. And the committee is President Wolak, President Pro Tem Conan, and myself. And after we review that, I will make a report back to council.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Any questions of Mr. Ballard?
Mr. President, one final item, hopefully. Michelle had put it in the package. One of the items for 22-23's DPW capital type expenses is new Christmas decorations. So Dave has got a quote out for a new style and whatnot, and plus we're gonna salvage existing. There's a price on it, but the order has to be placed by February 28th to get delivery late summer. So even though it's in the budget, there won't be no monetary spending until the 22-23 fiscal year. But I want to bring it up in case there's any other questions about authorizing, Dave to go ahead and place the order.
You've reviewed that.
I sure have, yes. Yep. Got a nice, with that early, from December through February, they took another 20% off. Went through the quantities, what he's asking for. It's good quality materials and it's a good price.
That's from Bonners.
Yeah.
Right.
All LED.
LED,
Yeah. Big thing again is we expect that we'll auction off our existing, and then there's also some other materials that have been auctioned either. And by the way, Dave is really happy with I'm assuming the municipal site versus what we were doing on our own. We went with the chief, and instead of for example on the pickup, instead of 300 or 400, it was 1,400. So he's looking at a couple other items that price difference were really good. Sure. So he's thinking again with the old decorations, put them out there as well. So it'll also help offset some of that expense.
Well, we need to approve that expense tonight.
No.
You can place the order.
Under 10, right? It's within.
Yeah, we're not gonna pay for it until.
Right.
Correct. We're not going to pay. Right. We won't be paying for it until the
But we
summer.
gotta give them.
It's under his spending amount.
It's in my spot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good, so, yeah.
For the seal.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought this to the council. Because even though the commissioners have a spending amount, if it's not an emergency thing, then it still should come to the council for approval. And that's what you've done, and that I appreciate.
Well, he's been pretty busy.
Yeah, well, it's just, you don't want everybody going out and spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 here and not even know about it,
That's right.
you know.
And we've held the lines
And,
for quite a few years. And it's been good job really over, so. I really appreciate it.
It's really doing a great, Dave and guys that are doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, this was one of the expenses that didn't, I mean, again, it's in the new upcoming budget, but it does have a, hey, we need to order before.
Good, very good.
No spend, no.
Thank you, Mr. Slade.
You still need to identify what is in the capital outlay for that department.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, I was just reviewing, just to make sure, because you and I have already gone through stuff, and I keep forgetting which one, yeah. But I have gone through it again, and we will.
Okay, good.
And the code enforcement reports in the packet, so if you have any questions, maybe you can contact the court and maybe you know what this was transpired. Next, general business, a consent agenda, which is approval of the regular council meeting minutes on January 24th, 22, and the payment for bill.
Oh, it's January 24th, 2022. 2021. Okay,
22 is right.
I know.
make a motion.
Ooh.
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported by Mr. Ballard and Mr. Clark. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
You abstain
Yep, I was not at that.
Yeah, I'll abstain.
from the minutes.
From the
Yeah, I'll
minutes,
abstain,
correct.
because I was not there. I'll probably be back to all you kind people. So it's a really pleasure for me to be out.
We're glad to have you back.
I sure did enjoy where I was at. So thanks again for all your kind words and thoughts expressed for me. Approval of the minutes and the payment of bills. What is council?
We already did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
You abstained.
okay, I'm sorry. All right, old business. Once more, Mr. Clark.
Well, I really don't have anything to add. That was news to me this evening about those pumps, so I will be on that, and the guys are real good about getting with me on stuff, so we will track that down and let you know what we've got to do.
Good. Well, I know you're down there quite a bit, so really helps. So it's good attention. Thank you. Next is a new business, the public hearing to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 Cbdg program, and this is set for 7 o'clock, which we always do after the fact of starting our meeting. And then the other one is a snow emergency public hearing.
Yeah, we'll enter into that one after we get done with the Cbdg.
Right.
In, out of.
So the thing is, let's take just the two first. So, what is the council's wishes?
Mr. President, I'll resolve to open the public hearing to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 Cbdg program at 7:25 p.m.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not,
Roll call.
roll call. Right.
Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes?
Conan,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes,
Sleds.
Yes.
I did that out of order, didn't I? But that's okay.
that's okay. We got it
Felt
passed.
special. Call my name.
I did, I called you second, I think, all
So
right.
thank you.
That's okay.
So, let's move into the hearing, yes, sir?
So now would be the time Tim, if you have anything you want to say.
Yeah, obviously, PAL has made a request again for funding through Cdbg funds. This is our 37th year of partnering with Armada and doing summer camp. Hard to believe it's been 37 years, Marv. You and I were both running around in uniforms here. We're now both long retired and it's still going.
We're both getting older.
Yes, we are. But last year we had 300 young people from the Armada School District attend camp. Again, it was one of our largest years, and camp is still strong and serving lots of youth in our community. One of the other things I know Dave talked about a little bit when I first came in is that our PAL leadership team, which is part of PAL, is also serving the community in other ways, and they just did a big fundraiser for cancer at the basketball game. I don't know if you saw about it in the local paper, and raised over $2,500 to help fight cancer. So the organization's strong, and that's really due to our partnership with the village here and how they've supported us over the years. So we're hoping that they will do that as we go forward again this year.
Thanks, Tim.
Another gentleman here.
Sir?
Yeah, my name is Jeff Dietrich. I'm here representing Samaritan House. Just to let you know, we thank you for all the support you've given us over the years. This year we had 2 families totaling 20 individuals that we supplied food assistance to within the village. So we'd like to request our $150 that we normally request to be able to continue to support that, and look forward to working with you again.
Good, well, thank you for coming.
So,
You know, in these winter months and being cold, there's usually excuses, but right here.
Thank you.
and you just ask for another public comment.
Yeah, anyone else have any public comments? None? All right, well,
Need to exit.
I can probably entertain a motion then to go back into regular session.
Mr. President, I'll resolve to close the public hearing at 7:28.
Support. Moved and supported, any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. So now we will go in to a public hearing for the snow.
No, we're gonna finish this out. We'll
We
just,
gotta figure out the
yeah,
allocation.
just,
We got $2,500?
yeah, we have $2,500. We've had, as I do for you guys every year, we have our 2022 requests, and I give you what our 2020 allocations were. It's the same organizations that have asked money of us. The amount that I had for PAL changed though. Sandy sent me a letter, and I'm trying to find it.
Is that the one we went to 1875?
Yeah, it went to they're requesting 1875, but I believe in the thing for the county, it said 1,050. Yeah, so, you know, we only have $2,500. You know, in the end, that's all we have to distribute. That's not dictated by us, it's dictated by HUD and how it works. So I guess it's, you know, it's up to you guys to determine what your amounts are for each organization.
But PAL does need to be in $350 increments though?
They, you know, the county, I talked to Stephanie today, who runs the program. They would really like it if all of those would be done that way. You know, like it's $350 per camper. They'd rather you give like $700 rather than $800 because it doesn't cover the cost of a full camper.
Right.
All of these requests are like that. If you read, it tells you how much it costs per. Like interfaith volunteer caregivers is $74 per completed task. Care house, it's $600 per you know, incident. McCrest is, this one's a little different, but this one is it's $9 a night. Samaritan House is $2.25 per pound per meal. So, I mean, I understand that's what they have to do for the county. She understands that sometimes it is not possible to break it up that way. The county would prefer it to come that way, as would, I'm sure, the organizations that are asking for money. Again, we're allotted such a small amount of money that sometimes that makes it hard. I know I talked to Ross earlier. His suggestion was to take it down 27.5% for each one, so everybody's equally,
Yeah, all are deserving, and it's
Yes.
tough to have one come up and you not give them anything. So that's just a recommendation on my part, is if you reduce the amount of each request by 27.5%, you get down to $2,494, and so you can tweak the dollar amounts a little bit here and there, and you get to $2,500, and everybody gets a piece of the pie. It doesn't neatly fit into the whole amounts requested, but I suspect that the organizations have a way to fill the gap if they don't quite get what they're asking for.
Well, let's hope.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't, yeah. I mean,
All right, so 2021's was 20, so it's $300 more than last.
it is $300 more than
Which
that,
can, yeah,
than
right,
last
you'd
year.
say add $60 to every one, which is actually thinking of how, because the other thing too is that it would be $375 now. That would be pretty close. That gets them to 11, they need 1125 then.
So if you
They
take
give you three
the
campers.
$60 that we
Basic, yeah,
paid,
thereabouts.
that were on,
That's close, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But we
another
brought-
way.
Take that one to 1125 and you got
So if
what
you
did you
had-
say Empress wanted in what increments?
Crest was $9 a night.
That's,
And
I
I-
thought that was a dodgeball one, yeah, because they do like 200 nights or whatever
I
it was.
don't-
No,
I
it
really-
was
I don't know.
5,000 some nights. It was
Yeah.
the total.
Right.
So-
It's very tricky to
Oh, yeah, they were looking
to adhere to that. But again, it's up to you guys what you want to do. If you want to take the $300 divided by 5 and give 60 more to everybody, that's fine
Yeah.
too. Ross's idea is fine.
Well, let me give you my dollar amounts, and then you guys,
All right,
this will be
go
the
for it.
27.5. Really what it is each organization gets 72.5% of what they've asked for. That's a better way maybe to put it. So MCrest would be $575, Samaritan House would be $110, PAL would be $1,270, Care House would get $435, and Interfaith caregivers would get $110. And that gets you to $2,500. And again, those amounts represent 72.5% of what the organizations originally requested. Does not try to bucket it into the amounts that they prefer to get.
Right.
But it covers everybody.
So
Make
if
your
you,
motion.
all right,
Well,
well,
no, but yeah, too, let's take that again.
let's do
I'll go by
your
PAL.
60. All right.
Well,
so-
but again, even stick that, it's the 12 set, so unless you could put another, unless you go to 1,500, I'd make that one 1125, that gives you 3 campers. Which is still better. You
And
can
3.5.
give, yeah, you can still give, Samaritan House wanted 250, I think Ross, you're good on MCrest. It's Care House, well, the other thing, I'm sorry, Interfaith. Interfaith was the same number all the time, isn't it?
It is,
So
yeah.
I'd keep them at 148.
Yeah, they're our lowest guys.
Right. And then, let's get that calculator moving here.
What's Interfaith do?
I
I know
have
what
to
the other
read.
ones.
Interfaith is assist income eligible seniors and physically challenged adults with indoor and outdoor chores, minor home repairs, and routine housekeeping maintenance tasks that they cannot accomplish due to limited financial resources. Average cost is $74 per completed task. So they do 143, which is probably 2. Yeah.
48.
74 is
Yeah, that's not even,
148.
is it? Yeah. So,
So one of you guys make your
yeah,
motion
148,
on
yeah.
either one's good to me.
2,500.
I,
It's 1,077.
Chris, you're trying to
He's ciphering.
Yeah.
Give him a stick and
Give
some
him
dirt.
I see the smoke rolling out of his ears, so.
Come on, jump rope.
Yeah.
Really, Chris, you're taking more time than Ross did.
Well, Ross came prepared.
Hey, it's about time. It's my, one a year I get, Dave.
Give him this one a year.
There's my mulligan for that. All right, let's see if this all adds up now. So 502.
I don't have a calculator, so make sure you're right.
You need permission.
Let's see, 1125.
He can't be driving the highway. That'll screw up our.
I'm disappointed that he couldn't just do that in his head.
Council people can't do
502. It's too late in the day.
Could have done it this
You know what I'm
morning.
saying? Yeah.
I could have done it.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at that as rate of what they were asking for versus how they were asking for it.
Well, like I said, that was kind of a, I don't wanna call it a wrench, but that was kind of something that's thrown at me this year and more explained this year. And we had just never done it like that. We just divided up the way
Somebody's
that
gonna
we
get
felt.
that amount of money, however
They
you
are,
do it.
right.
So
Right.
that's why I just.
You got it? Alright, so.
Cut everybody by an equal amount, and that gets us.
Mhm.
You just about set there, Chris?
Yes, 502.
He's ciphering.
I was ciphering, yes.
Not on
2,500
no.
minus 150
Clock's running.
He might do better with dirt than a stick, like Jeff
minus
roasted.
58. 642. Oh, that's 2,500. Lacrosse, what was their,
Requested 792.
what did they have? No, Care House had, it wasn't 600.
Care House is
All
600.
right, so let's do that then, let's give them that.
Samaritan House is 150. Interfaith Volunteer
Alright,
Care
got
House
it.
is
So
140.
here's the last one. So 5 minus 150, 477. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Okay, here goes.
What's
Don't
that?
get it? I
What's
was
that?
using the force, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so, McCrest, 477. Samaritan House, 150. Armada Pal, 1125. Care House, 600. And Interfaith, 148.
Sounds fair.
Okay.
Want that into a motion?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 Cbdg program as follows. Program services, McCrest program services for $477. Samaritan House for $150. Armada Pal for $1,125. Care House for $600. And Interfaith Volunteer Caregivers at $148 for a grand total of $2,500.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, roll call please.
Sleds,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Wolock,
Yes,
Conan,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Duffy.
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, there we go.
There. Okay, now is the next public hearing. Motion to go into the public hearing, please?
Where's the motion on here?
It's on the second page.
There it is. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to enter into public hearing to consider adoption of an ordinance amending Title 10 Traffic, Chapter 102 Snow Emergency Ordinance, Section 102-1 Definitions of the Village Code of Ordinances to clarify the definition of a snow emergency at 7:39.
Support.
Moved and supported. Further discussion?
Gotta do a roll call on this one.
If not, roll call.
Suds?
Yes.
Ballard?
Yes.
Bullock?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Belkey?
Yes.
Okay. Floor's open for public hearing?
So now it's just.
Yeah, open to the public, that's all right. Anyone like to address the council?
Perfect.
Geez, it's quiet in here.
So now we can exit.
I woke up. I know I should have been a comedian instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well,
Mr. President, move to exit public hearing at 7:40 PM.
Support.
moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, roll call again.
No, just all wait, just.
Oh, you want to go?
No, we just don't have to do that.
Oh, all right. What's your job?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Comedian's working again.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. I too.
Okay, so Jeff, do you want to explain this?
Sure, be happy to. So, as many, everybody on council knows, for many, many years, we've had a snow emergency ordinance. And the objective really is to assist DPW in plowing and salting. Cars on our primary route, which is obviously Main and Fulton, and our secondary, which is our local streets. Parked cars present a real issue. They either have to plow them in, as they say in the industry, and trap those vehicles, which makes it a lot harder for them to eventually get out, or you have to have some way of getting word out to move the cars. So our existing ordinance, I think since 1994, a snow emergency is defined as a declaration by the chief of police or the superintendent of public works that based upon current or forecasted snow, sleet, and or freezing rain conditions, it is necessary to prohibit parking on the snow emergency routes. So that's worked pretty well, but there's concern, I think, from the street administrator, as well as I'm sure the chief of police and our DPW superintendent is, you do have to get the word out. That's the most important thing, is so people have a reasonable expectation of when they have to get the cars out. And when you leave it to police chief's declaration or superintendent of public works, you're not really getting the word out. You're relying kind of on them going out actually and knocking on doors.
Right.
So I think the thought process was to specify a specific snow amount. Nowadays the news jumps on these snow emergencies pretty quick, and once our residents know that it's forecasted, in this case 3 or more inches, kind of triggers, hey, I got to get my car off the street. And although the village will continue to declare it formally, we still will do that. We think that over time it'll kind of be in a conditioning effect that people know at 3 inches I got to get my car off. That clears the way for Dave and the guys to hit the primary and secondary roads hard without having those cars. So that was really it. We basically, with the amendment, pretty simple, we're just going to introduce forecasted snow accumulation of 3 or more inches. We decided to keep the sleet and freezing rain because in certain circumstances an ice storm can be even more dangerous. So although we're not going to specify amount, we thought it was important to keep that in the ordinance. Obviously that one doesn't happen as frequently, so that will be kind of handled in a case-by-case basis, but really it's just introducing the 3 inches of 3 inch snow limit. There was a little bit of cleanup, you'll see, to introduce, I think Dave's formal title is superintendent. Previously we had identified him as a supervisor of public works, so I thought that would be a good chance to clean that up. So unless there's any questions, that pretty much is it in a nutshell. And Chris, I don't know if you want to add anything?
I do, so, and you're spot on. So I went through about a dozen different communities, and the one thing I did know that I thought was unique about ours is, as Jeff had put it, was the addition of the sleet or freezing rain. Almost no one has that, but they did vary on amount, depths of snow. And I thought that how to blend that two together, because that is, I think that's even, it could be even more important. And that, yeah, the title change, and that was really it.
There's, hopefully, at the time this happens, it's gonna be 90 in the shade, but we've got a water sewer bill, share the welfare water sewer bill coming up in March, and maybe an opportunity to put a notice in there, Chris, to the public, and whoever, you know, if they're gonna get their water sewer bill, and they can just see that, hey, if it's, weather channels are reporting 3 inches or more, you know, that's a trigger to them. Otherwise, I guess the question would be, how do they, you know, people are gonna say, well, I didn't know it was a declared emergency, how do we know? So,
Right.
assume maybe there's something also gonna be posted on the village
Yep.
website.
And Russ, just so you know, under the ordinance, we do a knock and announce, you know, we're under a snow emergency. We just don't go out and cite people, right, you know what I mean? So I just wanna make sure, we're not changing that. They still do their very, very best to get people, you know, when they're in the home and able to move the cars. Declaring a snow emergency is kind of a science, because you gotta hit that sweet spot where people are at home and can move the cars, and predicting the weather, when it's gonna happen. But I don't really think, Chris, that's really been a problem. I think the enforcement part of it's worked pretty well. It's just trying to get residents, again, conditioned that, you know, when it's forecast
To know,
for 3,
right.
Yeah.
you know, get the cars off the street.
Take action.
Agreed. Yep. And then there's one, I work with the fire chief as well, his marshal. There is only one street I know in particular that there's parking on both sides of the street, which you can't get it, and it's ends in a cul-de-sac, so there's no way to get down and turn. We'll get that fixed, because there should be any that has on both sides. There's gotta be a hydrant side that is typically protected, so.
Right.
So we'll get that one resolved, and then this will tie it all in together. The only other would have been is, would we want to have it as an auto declarate versus that the chief, or do you have to actually come out and declare it just automatically?
Yeah. I would say most communities do go through the formal declaration process. A lot of them do a press release. And if you get the press release out to any of the news outlets, they start to run them.
Yeah.
You know, these cities or villages have, so. But I do think you need that formal declaration from the chief, so that also helps in court to have that
Same
declaration
case,
when
yeah.
you go to court. First thing the defense attorney's going to ask is, did you declare the declaration? You want to have that done.
Very good. So,
There you go.
Just need a motion to.
Yep.
okay, let's have the motion.
Here you go. Michelle, is there, what, is the motion, just say the
Very bottom.
Resolve to adopt the
What
ordinance
page?
amending.
Sorry. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 102, Section 102-1 of the Village Code of Ordinances to clarify the definition of a snow emergency.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, of course. Everyone in favor?
Aye. Let's say I was waiting for it to be a roll call for some reason. Oh,
No.
Okay.
No money involved. Sad to say.
Okay.
Michelle, who seconded that?
Yeah.
Who did that? Okay, that's what I thought.
All right.
We're on a roll now.
Keep it rolling.
That's just to
Jeff, before I
consider.
forget, how, to actually get it implemented,
After.
is it a month? I mean, it's.
Oh, no, this will be on
time frame.
upon publication.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're not really changing the penalty. Usually, there's a quirky old rule that you have to wait 21 days
21.
if it's a penalty, but we're not doing that.
Okay, next is the consider adoption of a resolution calling for an annual public hearing on special assessment roll for the Armada Village Police Special Assessment District. So what is the council question?
Let's see.
GB3C
So this is just what we've had, right?
This is to set the public hearing. We have to have it before our budget public hearing. So it's the meeting before. Somebody need me to hand it to him?
The motion's on this page.
Okay. Mr. President, I'll resolve to adopt a resolution calling the annual public hearing on special assessment roll for the Village of Armada Special Assessment District on March 14th, 2022.
At 7
At
p.m.
7 p.m.
Second.
Moved and supported. And any further discussion, please? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have a change order, number 9, wastewater treatment plant, SRF, number 5645-1.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments, Mr. Clark?
This is a couple of things I brought to council in the last couple of months that we had previously approved. They just want it all bundled together on this change order to keep everything in order. It's the new roof, and it was the sump pump. So unless anybody has any questions, I will make a motion. Mr. President, I'll resolve to approve change order number 9 for a net increase of $63,119 to the contract for the wastewater treatment plant SRF project 5645-01 to provide a battery backup sump pump system and to replace the roof on the control building and to allow the sewer commissioner to sign the change order 8
Change order
9 on behalf
I
of
didn't
the
catch that.
village.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Clark,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Sledds,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Nowak.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you, everyone.
And the next, we're opening up the floor again for citizen comments. Need to address the council and state name for the record. Anyone do?
Thank you very much for supporting us again this year. We appreciate it.
Glad we can give you what you requested too.
Thank you.
So I wish we could give more.
Again, thank you from Pal also for your continued support.
Well, Timmy, it's been a long time.
Long time.
Long time.
Long time.
We went through this many, many good days.
Yes, we did.
And I still remember the good old days.
Yes, yes.
So we worked it out and it's still in progress. That is a good sign. So I appreciate being part of it also. And it was with you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So anyhow, good luck with your summer trip this year.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Council comments at this time?
Yeah, I've got a couple. As everybody knows, it is winter time, and there's sidewalks that need to be shoveled, which it's been lacking lately. I still walk on occasion, and we still see people walking, so people need to get out there and shovel their walks and take care of things. I know things have been a problem this last week with the ice. That's very hard, but we really need to get out there and shovel our walks. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is the disposable wipes, as they are called. Please do not flush those down the toilet. It causes all kinds of problems down at the plant and in the lines, and if you're lucky that it doesn't cause problems in your own house. So if we can avoid doing that, that would be great.
Even though they say they're flushing.
Yes.
They're not.
Because they do not break down.
Has there been more lately again?
Yeah, they still get them down there. So,
What don't they understand?
well, it says flushable, so they do that.
Right.
And the toilet will flush them, but it's an artificial piece of paper that does not break up. When they come in at the plant, they are totally whole,
Oh, yeah.
if they haven't balled up in the system somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's hope that, because actually, this could probably be charged back.
well, it costs taxpayers' money. We have to call in a back truck sometimes, or a jetter, and it plugs up pumps. I saw them at the Colonial Lift Station, worked for about an hour and a half digging the rags out of the impeller in the pump. So again, it costs everybody money, so if we can avoid that, that would be great.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Mr. President, I would like to say thank you to the DPW for the excellent job they did on replacing the hydrant on the corner of Church and Torrey Street. They had, who was it, Telto, I believe, come in, and the boys worked right there with them, and they did a real nice job. They finished the grade up nice, and it looked good.
Good.
Still can't figure out how they hit that. There was tracks up in your yard.
I know, I have no idea. I mean, I didn't.
Well, it's proud to hear good comments about our employees and to help our residents. Very good. So we can't complain at that. So, community events, any that you'd like to announce? If not, there's no closed session tonight. Next, I'm going to entertain a motion.
Also move to adjourn.
Adjourn.
What? I already have Ballard written
broke
down.
Well,
We know it's officially over one line.
Yep.
Yeah. Are
Well-
you gonna second one?
Smacking down the time.
Support.
What time, Dave?
What time, Dave?
You're not as good as.
7:56.
7:56.
Yep, 7:56.
well, Dave was listening. He got it right in there. Good, so appreciate it. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.